Hey friends, welcome to the exercises video. This video is just explaining the two crease patterns I'm giving you all to practice based on what we've learned so far. And yes, you guys will be folding actual models. We've been folding just pieces and structures recently, so I think it'll be fun to actually fold models. And even though it's only class 2, you should be able to start solving some crease patterns just like this. And the next one will be a little bit larger grid, but same kind of thing. So this is a Beatle crease pattern for a Beatle I designed. And shout out to Bodo Hag for this level shifter. He helped me out with that. I'll link his Instagram and his channel in the description. But yeah, so if you did all the exercises from class 1, this should seem pretty familiar. It's just this is shifted up a unit. And now you'll notice we also added the hinges into the crease pattern. So it's flat folding, as you see here. But yeah, this is just a really good kind of crease pattern to start off with. It's going to be a little challenging just because of how many structures are kind of crammed into this. So I'm just showing this in the video to kind of give you a little bit of direction as to what you're doing. Now, small disclaimer, we just covered Pythagorean stretches. This is not a Pythagorean stretch. It's just it's like the structure for bird base. So don't overthink that. But pre-crease it similarly to what I explained and you'll be totally fine. But yeah, so here's some Beatles. Now, the base to shaping video has not been made yet. That's probably going to be class 4. Maybe it'll be next class. We'll have to see. So if you get to the base, which is this, and don't know what to do, check this out as a reference and really just try to get it to look kind of like this as much as possible, or kind of see what you want to do to try to make it look like a Beatle. And that's honestly such a good exercise to start practicing shaping before I talk about how to get a base into a fully shaped form. So I don't want to give too much of like cheat codes to y'all, but here's kind of the base so you can check for yourself if you got it correct. And then just on starting shaping, I have this, which is pretty much the same thing. And if you look closely, I did some nifty folds as I'm shaping just to get the legs proportioned where they are. But yeah, really just try going for it. It's might take you around like 45 minutes to get everything good. So nothing too challenging. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Send me pictures of your Beatles if you're on Instagram or whatnot, and I'd love to check them out. Awesome, let's move to the next one. All right, friends, so this is the second exercise you're going to be doing. This is the Facehugger by Donnie. I mentioned it in the previous lessons, but here it is, and this is the crease pattern. Now, obviously, the grid size is a lot larger than what we're used to. This is 48, so it's not too bad. But that means you're not going to be able to really do it from Kami. So this is going to be a good chance for you guys to get experience using better papers if you haven't done that before. Now my friends Fearless Flourish and Tim Rickman, they have really good videos on making double tissue. So something like that would be perfect. But yeah, give this a shot. Pretty straightforward. This is more of like a fun kind of activity. Because every structure here we've covered in this class, and it'll just give you guys an opportunity to kind of figure out the shaping for this model. I made a tutorial for it, so if you get stuck, then you can use that. But it's a really cool model. I'll link Donnie's Instagram in the description, and that is where you can get the crease pattern for this. But yeah, super awesome model, and I think you guys will enjoy it a lot. All right, so we just covered the Facehugger as an exercise, and in lesson 2, I mentioned that this is the structure for the tail. as you can see here. And I got a lot of requests for this, which I showed, which kind of showed how you can split the flap and get more ridges like this. Now, obviously, if you fold the facehugger, I think it looks totally fine with the crease pattern as is. But if you have thin paper and want to try this, you can totally go for it. It's going to require quite a bit of dexterity, but I'll show you guys the sequence for this. I think a couple people asked me for it. They wanted to see the crease pattern, but honestly, I think it'll be better just to see the sequence, as you don't want to overcomplicate a crease pattern, right? You could get this from, this crease pattern, but showing this actually unfolded would be a little challenging. But yeah, so I'll show that to you guys really quickly. Pretty simple. Now, as mentioned in lesson 2, in case you forgot, the 2 ridges here are different types. So this first one is valleys to valleys and then a grid mountain. And this one is 2 mountains and then the grid is a valley. So this one's going to be a little bit easier to do. This one's going to be a little bit more forced, but you should be able to get both, relatively the same. And after shaping, if it's a little sloppy, you won't tell. So let's get into it. So first thing we're going to do the easy flap first. We're just going to fold this flap in half like this. All right, pretty simple. And then what you're going to do is you're going to squash fold it. So unfold this and you're going to squash fold this full flap. Now this might require you to kind of unfold it a little bit just so it's clean. So I'm just going to start flipping these creases like this, just to give myself a little bit of room. But if you can start to get it going, then you should be all right. And this is kind of like if you've ever squash folded the top of a water bomb base. This is very similar, as basically there's a water bomb base formed in the center there. And I'm not going to get it fully perfect, but you want to at least keep the vertical and horizontal lines looking as clean as possible. What happens on the inside doesn't matter a whole lot. But yeah, so we have this. There we go. Squash folded, not too bad. And fold this flap down. As you can see, we lost a little bit of accuracy here just because I'm going kind of fast. But take your time and you'll be all set. Now, the last thing to do for this one is this second flap on the bottom here. You'll see it has this valley fold. And you're going to unsync it. So basically just lift up here. And instead of that being a valley, turn it into a mountain. And again, it's going to change some stuff on the inside. You could be fully precise about it. You don't really have to, though. And you just have to kind of be careful. Again, keep your horizontal and vertical lines accurate and then squish it down like so. And that's how we split that flap into these pleats. Kind of cool, right? So a lot of designs use this. And a lot of, you might have done this in diagrams or whatnot. There's a lot of versions of it. Now let's do the bottom one. It's a little bit harder, not in like a technical sense, but you'll probably end up squishing more layers in between just because of the nature of the structure. But same thing, we're going to squash fold this flap. So I'm just going to reverse crease on this part, just again trying to get this flap to be precise. Once we have that, you can kind of see the inside billowing out. There's a couple things you can do to help yourself keep the precision, but I'm not going to take the time in this video to do that, but you guys can do that if you want. But same thing, squash fold down like this. Fold the top flap down like that. And then the bottom flap, you're going to unsync it so that valley fold becomes a mountain, like this. And again, you might have to undo the flap a little bit like this to get it to kind of initiate. There you go. All right, and then I'm gonna pinch it like this, really to get it out. There's for sure transition units in Crease Patterns that we might cover later that kind of do the same thing with this kind of unit, but this is like a quick way you can just quickly add to your shaping if you wanted to. So anytime you see flaps or pleats made with regular 45-degree angles, you can kind of do this and you know, maybe spice up your model a little bit. All right, so you have this. This one side didn't work out too well. It's not obeying paper too well, but I think we got it. There you go. And kind of flatten it. As you can see, I lost this corner to just speed, but this corner is fine. But yeah, that's kind of it. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, you can practice that, try that out. It's kind of a shaping mechanism more than it is a crease pattern structure. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Give the two exercises a shot and let me know what you think. All right, see you in class 3.
All this origami got me going Kamikaze.